Hello, everyone, and welcome to Virtual Tape for IBM. Webinar today is less tape management and faster recovery of your IBM backups, featuring LaserVault ViTL, a simpler approach to your IBM backup and recovery. My name is Axe Snyder, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. Our company located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have been in business for over 30 years. We are a software developer, and in our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff and technical support. We are an IBM registered business partner and Microsoft certified partner. So this session, we're going to talk about why organizations are moving away from physical tape, and we're going to talk about how you can do that with virtual tape solution, common backup and recovery challenges facing IBM I teams today, how virtual tape works with IBM I environments, how seamless the integration can be in using your existing backup processes with a virtual tape solution, how faster access to backup data can improve your recovery readiness, so having all of your backups available to recover at any time, and real world advantages of our particular solution, LaserVault ViTL, virtual tape technology, in which I'm going to do a quick demonstration of our particular solution, LaserVault ViTL. So why organizations are moving away from tape? Backup windows continue to shrink because of the speed of tape. Manual tape handling consumes time. Offsite transportation can slow recovery. Physical media adds operational risk, and repurpose existing storage for backup. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well in terms of being able to use existing backup and storage solutions for VTL solution like LaserVault ViTL. So challenges facing IBM I teams today: longer backup jobs impact operation. Recovery expectations continue to rise in your backup and recovery options. Managing tape can add complexity, can add time, it can have limited recovery and limited visibility into backup readiness, and budget pressure limits and new hardware investment. So those are some of the challenges that can be overcome with a VTL type solution for disk-to-disk backup as compared to a physical tape environment. So backup and recovery data flow. So we've got VTL appliance as the hosting of VTL software, such as LaserVault ViTL, whether that's in a physical server or in a VM server. And then connectivity from the VTL appliance to the IBM I can either be a fiber channel or a SAS connection. So with these types of connections, using either one, it allows the VTL solution software that we have developed to emulate tape, whether it's a physical tape device that it can emulate or a tape library can be emulated. And recovery is going to be read data from the VTL appliance. So you've got your backup repository, data protection, retention, monitoring, and reporting of your backup solution to disk backup compared to a physical tape solution. So it makes it very simple to apply a VTL solution to your IBM I server simply with that connection of a fiber channel or SAS cable that you use to connect to IBM I. So how faster backup can improve recovery readiness, restore directly from disk-based storage. So restores can happen immediately. Getting and having available all of your backups online to recover from at any time is going to reduce your recovery in your downtime windows. It's going to give you faster access to backup data remotely when needed. So no more offsite storage of backups that have to be recovered and going to get a physical tape. So simplify testing and validation of your backups and improving confidence in your recovery outcomes. So we'll go through a live demonstration of our particular solution, LaserVault ViTL. So let me show you some of the features and settings and capabilities of our particular solution. So this is our web interface, LaserVault ViTL. This is going to be logged in. I'm going to log in as a user, as the admin user. So this gives you secure access to your backups and configuration settings that are stored on disk through the LaserVault ViTL software. So once logged in, I'm going to go ahead and access libraries. And this is where you can configure one or more tape devices or tape libraries for your IBMI to use in your backups. Whether that's using those for in VRMS, Go Save commands, Robot Save, Go Backup commands, giving you the same capability in backups and restores that you do with physical tape. So we're going to edit the parameters and features in configuration for library one. So we have two tape libraries defined. So in library one, we go into these settings, and this is when you're first setting up your tape libraries, is defining these settings such as the library name, which is going to correspond to being able to access your inventory of virtual tapes that are stored on disk. We have these Ultrium options to choose from for your virtual tapes. Typically, it would be an Ultrium 8. Two things to note about choosing the Ultrium version. None of these have a storage limitation. So if your backup, say your full backup is 10 terabytes, that would all fit on an LTO5 or LTO tape that you've created in the VTL during the backup. So there's no storage limitation on any of these LTO versions. There's also no correlation with backup speed up to twice as fast as a physical tape, whether it's Ultrium 5 or Ultrium 8 as your selection of your Ultrium version for your virtual tapes. The number of storage slots is currently set to 60 storage slots, which means I can add up to 60 virtual tapes to this tape library. That number can go over 13,000 storage slots, and at any time you can increase the number of storage slots to add additional virtual tapes to your backup rotation. So if you are considering, or at any time consider adding additional rotations or retentions in your backups, you can simply just increase the number of storage slots and add in new virtual tapes onto disk with this solution. You can set a default tape capacity size. We have customers that save journal uh, files throughout the day, and they would like that tape to eventually fill up so that it rotates to the next tape that would be available to start running those saves. Cache settings. When we talk about the backup speed compared to physical tape, so backing up to disk can be much faster, up to twice as fast as backing up to physical tape. So we have some caching capabilities within our software that these settings can allow you to manage the fastest backup and restore speeds for your processing. So you can change these values, test your backup, see which value gives you the fastest. The sweet spot is usually for write and read. Cache speed would be 8 to 16 meg. Then we have these settings over here to the right, which are your backup paths. So again, we're defining backup paths to go to disk. Now, in some cases, you could have a server with disk storage, RAID disk storage on that server, in which in my case I do. I have an E volume, in which is my main path for having virtual tapes and writing data during the backup process, as well as restores. Then I have a second path for Azure Cloud Storage. This is a multi-path feature that we've actually recently added to our solution, giving you the ability to store virtual tapes and migrate virtual tapes to any storage that you wish to have available to LaserVault, whether that be network attached storage, cloud storage, such in my case, or local disk storage. And it gives you the flexibility of moving tapes from one storage location to another, and yet still being able to see those tapes in the tape library and being able to do restores. So any tapes that I've migrated from local storage path to Azure, I can see those tapes in terms of those backups and do a restore, recover, or migrate back to the local storage of those backups. So it gives you a lot of flexibility to simply easily increase storage by adding another path and migrating tapes from one path to another, or from one storage device to another storage device. And there's no limit on the number of paths that you can define for each of your tape libraries. The next thing we have defined would be tape drives. So we have one entry for a tape library with control path yes. And this gives us a tape library with one virtual tape device. With fiber channel connectivity, our solution does support NPIV, giving you the capability of creating up to 64 virtual devices per fiber channel connection. Typical speed with fiber channel connection is 16 gig, but can go up from 32 to 64 gig fiber channel connectivity. But again, you can have up to 64 virtual devices that you can share along multiple IBM LPARs, running parallel saves on using multiple tape devices in a tape library. So this gives you the ability to create additional tape devices by simply doing an add and then zoning those worldwide port names to your IBM I through your switch to give you access to give you those tape devices. Group access to this tape library, there are 3 groups that have been defined with access to this interface. So these are the groups and the users, there are users within these groups that you can define with username and passwords, giving them access to this tape library. So as an administrator group, which is what I'm logged in as, these are the features that I have available to me within this interface. So the only 2 options I cannot perform is change write protect on virtual tapes, and I'm not allowed to migrate media from one path to another. But checking those boxes, clicking OK would give my group access to those features. So you can even limit to actually any users belonging to a group may not even be able to view this tape library. In other words, see the inventory, make changes to settings and things like that for this tape library. Then we have some replication and retention features. So this is going to be defining if you like to replicate backups from one location to another, from one storage location. So maybe you'd like to replicate from production location to a disaster recovery location, or you would like to replicate from your physical location to cloud storage. This allows you to make copies of your tape so that you can have multiple options for recovery. So it gives you extra copies of your backup that you can have, which means for disaster recovery, you have extra copies of your backups. You can even replicate backups to physical tape as well as replicate backups to offsite storage. So multiple copies of your backups, whereas compared to a physical tape, you simply just have one copy of your backup. So we do have settings that are that you could that are predefined for Amazon S3 storage, Azure storage, and Wasabi. This gives you the ability to put in your cloud storage properties to access your cloud storage account for whichever provider you're using, and that gives the ability to replicate tapes to that storage location. And this is going to be an automated process. Once this job is defined using these settings, I can simply set a task to automate this replication job so that it runs at any time that I need it. Typically, right after the backup is complete, a replication job can automatically begin and copy that tape, that backup virtual tape, to the other to another location. It gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of which volumes you'd like to replicate, the number of volumes you'd like to replicate, as well as the ability to send email notifications for replication jobs. And you'd receive an email notification when the replication job begins, if there happens to be an error in the replication, and then when the replication job completes. You can replicate number of volumes or all volumes. Replicate number of volumes. If you wanted to replicate the last 2 volumes, you run this job every other day, or if you run this every day, the most recent. And then down below, we have some retention features. So if you're using go save commands and you're rotating through tapes, or you're needing to initialize or delete a tape upon expiration in terms of the age, the number of days you want to store a tape on local storage, that would be your local retention rep enabled for any tapes that need to expire. And then there's also a setting for remote retention for any replicated copies, so that those are initialized or removed from the media library, um, because they've reached their retention. If you're using BRMS Robot Save, those products are going to handle your retention and rotation of your tapes just as they do today with physical tape. So those may not be used, typically aren't used when using BRMS Robot Save, because those are going to automatically initialize any tapes that have expired within the BRMS database. So you can have multiple replication jobs. So if you wanted to replicate to a disaster recovery site, as well as replicate to Amazon S3 or Azure Cloud Storage, you can have both replication options and have 3 copies of your virtual backups. This gives you a lot of capabilities. So let's take a look at Library 1. Library 1 would be the settings that we just went over in terms of configuring the tape library with tape devices. So gives you a list of all your tapes that are available in inventory to be used in BRMS, Robot Save, or any of your Go Save backup and restore commands. So if you want to create additional tapes or create tapes for the first time after you've defined the tape library, you use the Create button. I'll go to my path, local, hit the Create button. I can put in a volume prefix, which would be 1, 2, or 3 characters for that volume prefix, because with a volume ID, you're going to have up to 6 characters to define the names of your tapes. So these are going to be new virtual tapes that the IBMI thinks are physical tapes, but they're really going to be written and stored on disk, of course. And you can create multiple tape images. You can initialize those tapes, and they're ready to be added into your backup software, your backup rotations, to run your backups automatically. So that's creating tapes. As you can see, I've chosen the local path up here at the top on the drop down, which shows me this column path of all my local path backups. So these are all the virtual tapes that reside in that path. I can click on any other path, in this case Azure, and I can see any tapes that have been migrated from the local path to the Azure Cloud Storage path. And I can even migrate any of these virtual tapes back to local storage, or even perform a restore of any of these backups. Any libraries or objects can be restored from any of these virtual tapes, no matter which path that they're located. If I go all inventory, this shows me any virtual tapes that are in local as well as in Azure storage. You can manually move a tape into the drive, which your drive is located here on the top. Any other virtual tape drives that are added into this tape library will be listed below. Drive 1, drive 2, for example. This software, this VTL solution does allow you to do full system restricted state saves, as well as demode IPL from any of your full system backups. If you had to do a demode IPL, you can simply take your full system tape, your full system virtual tape, and simply move it into the drive. So if I want to move this volume to the drive, move media, And now that tape is mounted and ready to go for a D-mode IPL full system restore. But in most cases, once you've already defined your tape libraries or your tape devices, added in your media with the create media option, then really your management of this solution is going to be through your IBMI in terms of your backups and your restores, because they'll work exactly the same way that they do with physical tape, will work exactly the same way with a virtual tape solution. Some of the other features, I have the ability to delete. That may be removed for any other users that belong in another group in which that feature is turned off. Migrate, protect. Protect the tape means that it's on write protect status. At that time, if it is in write protect status, it cannot be deleted, initialized, or overwritten. Also, you can click on labels. Labels will show you a list of the libraries that are in that save, along with the sequence and the size of each of the libraries that are in that particular save, similar to doing a display tape. But since this is a tape library, for example, you're using BRMS, this is auto load capability. So once BRMS backup control group starts, it knows the next tape to use. That automatically gets loaded into the drive, and the backup will begin automatically. So it auto loads the tapes. It also auto loads the tapes on a restore. So if you're choosing from BRMS which object or library to restore and which volume, that volume is automatically loaded, and the restore begins immediately. There's no sequencing through a tape to perform the restore. The location of that library or object is automatically accessed immediately, and the restore begins immediately. This is a virtually unlimited number of tape slots and virtual tapes that are available to you at any time to do a restore. It also gives you a quick audit of all your backups that are available to restore. So it gives you really a lot more flexibility because you're not having to restore from physical tape. You're not having to restore and retrieve the actual physical tape to perform the restore. At any time, I can load a tape and do that, get a library, get an object instantly. So what we do is we help customers when they first get this software up and running, because this can be offered as a software license. No, we do not sell via subscription. Our licensing is perpetual, so it's a one-time license fee. So it can be installed either on a Linux VM or Windows VM or physical server, whether it's Linux or Windows for the operating system. We also offer servers with storage, gateway servers, which we're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a second. So this gives you a kind of an idea of how the setup and configuration works, and that we help you assist you in the configuration and the training and the setup, and even running test backups to ensure everything's working correctly. And really 99% of those installations are done remotely and done very, very quickly within a day. You're already ready to run backups to disk using virtual tape. So one of the other additional features of our product, which is actually an add-on license to our solution, is called deduplication. So you might have heard of some of these, this particular term in a way that you can compress your backups in a block format where it will compare blocks that have been saved. If the block contains any new or changed data, it is saved, that block of data. If it does not contain new or changed data, it is not saved again. So eliminating duplicated data to your backups really is going to reduce storage consumption of your data. It's going to improve replication, since only blocks that are new and changed that have been saved in the most recent backup are actually replicated. So this gives you a lower long-term backup infrastructure cost, which is pretty important these days with the price of SSDs and storage. So this greatly reduces the amount of data that you're having to store as well as replicate. It does not change any of your restores of your data. It's simply going to be the exact same restores, whether it's compressed or whether it's deduplicated. With our standard license, we have compression, which is included, and that is an average of 5-to-1 compression. Deduplication can bump that compression up to 12-to-1 or higher compression of your data with data deduplication. And that is our BDup module that is optional with our particular solution. We also we have many customers that utilize products such as backup solutions such as Exagrid, Cohesity, Rubrik, Pure Storage, IBM storage solutions as their repository of their backups. So when we talk about our VTL solution being a gateway, it allows you to write it allows the VTL server LaserVault ViTL to write the data directly to the storage appliance. Whether it's Exagrid, Cohesity, Rubrik, those are our technology partners that utilize our solution for the IBM I side of backups. So the VTL server does not need to have storage. It can if you want to have storage there as a multi-path option, or you would have it as a staging area and then migrate tapes over to those storage data protection appliances. But simply having the VTL server in between the IBM I and that storage allows LaserVault to write directly, and you can leverage that storage and leverage the backup capabilities and cyber resiliency of those solutions with your IBM I backups. So if you're currently using any solution like that or have SAN or NAS storage, that might be usable for a VTL solution in your IBM I backups. Announcing a new technology partner with IBM and Defender Data Protect. Also working as a gateway solution to a Defender Data Protect cluster. Excuse me, allowing the VTL server to write directly to that storage as a gateway solution. So that connection from LaserVault to that storage would be a high-speed network connection, fiber channel connection to that storage, allowing us to move the data directly through the VTL server to the storage. Just a quick testimonial here, quote from one of our customers that was replacing their physical tape, their traditional physical tape storage. So giving them encryption of their data in transit, at rest, a huge safeguard bonus for them in terms of having those backups using the features of encryption, compression, and encryption and data at transit and at rest for their backups. So real world advantages of VTL solution in IBM I: remove tape handling and rotation, speed backup and restore operations. So again, backups up to twice as fast compared to physical tape backup time. Restores much faster as well. Enable flexible storage and retention options. Flexible storage meaning you can use any SAN or NAS storage available to write backups through the VTL and leverage those storage solutions for IBM I. So in the go-to webinar panel, well, we've got some documents to download that you can use, some resources, quote sizing questionnaire. This gives us the capability of assisting you in sizing the amount of disk storage needed for your backups, fiber channel or SAS connectivity, as well as the speed and number of connections you would need for the number of tape devices to be shared and used along all of your LPARs. So this gives us assistance in giving you some pricing or budget information to get the best configuration for the amount of data, number of LPARs, and all of that information. Some testimonials from customers, technical specifications on our particular solution, and our most recent blog, Let's Take Management, Faster Recovery for IBMI. So I want to thank everybody for their time today. Here's our contact information, info@laservault.com, extension 1 for our 800 number for our speak to anyone in our sales team. Um, if anyone works through an IBM business partner, we can partner with them to evaluate backup solutions. We work with many um, IBM business partners as resellers of our particular solution, and they can assist you in getting in contact with us to take a look at our product and to have a configuration defined through your IBM business partner. We have a drawing for a pair of noise canceling earbuds after this session. The winner will be notified and posted on our website. So you'll get an email if you're the lucky winner of those earbuds. But anyway, I wanted to thank everybody for their time today. And if you do need to contact us, please do. Happy to take a look at your backup requirements and provide you quotation, demonstration to go into more detail, answer your technical or any questions that you might have regarding a VTL solution, such as LaserVault. So thanks everybody for your time and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.